You have 10 minutes to hide a pen from a detective. If he doesn't find it, you get $1 million. Where would you hide it? Oh, I just put it in the last place they look. Simple. Well, yeah, it's always in the last place they look. Once they find it, they stop looking. We really do have a lot of weird phrases like that in English, don't we? I couldn't care less. Well, you couldn't care less? So you could care less, meaning you do care some?
Gotcha!
I'm sure quite a few of you also browse Reddit in your downtime. But personally, I'm not really going out of my way to search up any existential dread. I have plenty of that at home.
Oh, that's not so much. So?
Unfortunately, that's exactly what someone reposted. From Tumblr, of all places. Go figure. It's weird to think that nighttime is the natural state of the universe, and daytime is only caused by a nearby, radiating ball of flame. One commenter was nice enough to point out, "We're just a bunch of bugs by a light bulb." Thanks, I really needed that. On a lighter note, here's a photo of Danny Trejo holding a Trejo of donuts. Apparently he owns a coffee shop. Oh, and according to this guy, a taco stand? Trejo's Tacos. Okay, yeah, that's pretty cool. Danny Trejo is, unironically, one of the more interesting celebrities out there, and from all accounts, a pretty nice guy. That's certainly a nice change of pace from what we usually hear about celebrities. Oh, speaking of genuine people, do you guys know about Moist Critical? He also goes by Penguin Zero on his YouTube channel. This is a bit of a throwback, but back in the day he used to donate all of his Twitch money to charity, and more recently he's been doing giveaway streams on his YouTube channel. He honestly seems like a really genuine guy, and you can tell when he's talking about it, it's to give clarity. It didn't come off as bragging at all.
For obvious reasons, I don't like to call attention to things I do privately, like giving money to charities or individuals in need or anything like that, because it feels douchey to do so. It feels like it'd be tooting my own horn, and I never want any of that to be perceived as performative.
It's always nice to see successful people who are grateful for the positions they've gotten into, and not just let the money go to their heads. It's been over 15 years since Captain Chelsea Sully Sullenberger landed a US Airways aircraft on the Hudson River. Because of his ability to pull off this emergency landing, as well as local ferries diverting to grab the passengers, not a single life was lost. This was actually the subject of a 2016 movie, with Captain Sully played by none other than Tom Hanks himself. Now that's certainly a story to tell the grandkids. Okay, so this next thing is something I'm actually guilty of. People who say, "Huh?" and then answer without you repeating the question. Apparently, they're psychopaths, according to this person. A commenter, who is also obviously guilty of this terrible offense, says, "You gotta let it load first." And in typical Reddit fashion, the comments are unrelated and just people being awful about grammar. Anyway, I guess I could just stop saying, "Huh," but then you're just gonna be weirded out by me silently staring at you. You really can't win. In perhaps the second best response to blatant racism, other than just outright banning the poster, has got to be sarcasm. As one commenter points out, "I don't get it. Both couples are black and white."
It's not easy being cheesy.
You can always count on someone in the comments to whip out a dad joke on just about anything. You know how people on Twitter say dumb stuff? Well, this person said what I can only hope was a joke.
Why hasn't anyone thought of just moving the border down to Panama? It would make it smaller and easier to secure.
I think the 8 existing countries that claim that land may have an issue with that. I know we have a lot of people coming into America, both legally and illegally, but we shouldn't presume that all of them just want to be absorbed by the US. That's kinda crazy. Then again, this was posted on Twitter, so... Also, just one little point to add on top of that. I think that might sort of run counter to what everyone talking about a border crisis wants. I have a video on that, by the way. Well, about the most recent attack on NYC officers by undocumented immigrants. Feel free to check that out if you're interested. I'll leave a link down below. Today I learned that only about 20% of homes in the UK are completely detached with zero walls, whereas almost 85% of homes in the US are detached, which isn't too surprising. I'd imagine that's out of necessity. They just don't have as much room as we do here. Just look at the UK compared to the US. We're a lot more comparable to the size of Europe as a whole, and that's if you replaced all that water with land. That being said, it's not as though there isn't a demand for multifamily housing, like apartment complexes outside of big cities like New York. The problem is, none of the existing single-family homeowners want them anywhere near them, and it's hard to blame them. Not only is it an eyesore, it drives down property values. But with housing constantly on the rise, both traditional homes and apartments right along with them, in a lot of places it's getting downright unaffordable to live on your own for a lot of people. As of January 2024, the average salary in California is approximately $61.7 thousand. That's just about $5,100 a month. And when you compare that to $2,000 just for your mortgage, you can see why a lot of people are having a hard time. And more higher density housing could really drive down the cost to rent, making it a viable alternative to buying a home. Well, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for joining me on this Reddit recap. Be sure to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already.